These, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, they're 13-1 to win the Super Bowl. That is tied for fourth. They are plus 650 to win the AFC. That's tied for second. They're tied with Baltimore, and obviously Buffalo is the favorite there. And Buffalo also the favorite to win the division, with the Patriots sitting at plus 115. Not a huge difference between the Bills and the Patriots as far as that's concerned. But I think it illustrates the point there as we bring in Mike Giardi, Rich Keefe, Tom Giles here with you, that even though the Patriots won the division this year and you saw Buffalo have to go on the road as the wild card and everything else, going to next year, there's a fair expectation that those two roles might get reversed, especially for me personally. I think the schedule will play a role into that when the Patriots are playing that first-place schedule. But, Mike, as you look at them trying to get back to the Super Bowl, how do you feel about their chances to do that?
I think it's going to be very difficult because I just think that we've seen it. It's hard to repeat, whether repeat champion or get back into the Super Bowl again. This was a roster that, as we talked about a ton during the course of the year, isn't where management and the coaching staff want it to be. And that doesn't take away anything that they did during the course of this season and getting as far as they did. And they should be better with what they do this offseason. But to me, it's still, you're still projecting a little bit. Like, to get back there again is difficult. So
what category would you put them in? Are they contender? Are they, you think they're a wild card team?
I think they're a playoff team.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a playoff team. I mean, I don't think anybody thought they were going to make the Super Bowl this year. So being like, oh, they're going to run it right back the next year, I think is really tough. It's kind of a long shot to do. But I feel like the Buffalo Bills have been the favorite to win the Super Bowl for a number of years. And they haven't even gotten there. So I think people are a little bit quick to put the Bills right back on top of the division. They have a new coach. That could obviously go a couple of different ways. It's still Josh Allen, who might be the best individual player, but he doesn't have a lot of help. I know there's still free agency. I know there's the draft and all that. But based on their current rosters, even if you want to talk down the Patriots a little bit and say, hey, they got some breaks, they got a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game, the Bills are still very flawed. This is the worst Bills team, Mike, that they've had in the last 6 years. And I mean, right now, I don't know why we would think it's going to be a whole lot better.
There's a lot of on the Bills with the coaching change, but it's not just changing the head coach. It's bringing in Jim Leonard as the defensive coordinator who wants to play a different style of defense, which means different personnel. They didn't have enough personnel on defense to do what they wanted to do anyway, and now you're talking about turning it over, and they have issues on offense in terms of paying some guys in the offensive line who are free agents. They don't have a number one wide receiver. Like, there's a lot for them to do, so I actually like the odds for the Patriots in terms of winning the division. I think that that's fair.
Okay, interesting. I mean, you also have Brandon Beane. There's got to be a ton of pressure on him as a GM as well if they're willing to hang on to him and let go of Sean McDermott. Well, you know what, though? Now you got to prove it. Like, if you roll it back out there and you can't get Josh Allen over the hump or they fall short and it's because the roster's not good enough, like you guys are illustrating, who knows what that means for him. Meanwhile, at his end-of-year press conference, Mike Vrabel, he was asked about the Patriots and what he thought of this team and as far as expectations go, and here's what he had to say.
Every time you guys ask me about my expectations, I say I try not to have any so that I'm not disappointed. But I would say that they, now that we're done, probably exceeded expectations. I think we probably, the biggest thing is I think we learned how to win.
All right, so that was a little more than a week ago. Here are the Patriots as far as cash spending over the last 7 years. This is according to Spotrac. But 2025, they were ninth in cash spending. But you obviously see the years before that, it was mid to bottom of the league, ranging anywhere in between for the Patriots as far as the money. Will they go out and spend the money? I guess that's the biggest question, Keefe. Will they go out and spend? Because you look at it and say, hey, you made it to the Super Bowl. If you can just shore things up, identify a couple spots that you need or pay the guys that you want to retain, do you think they will do that? Do you think they'll become one of the highest spending teams?
I don't, unfortunately. I hope that they do. You know, I have a lot of different free agents and trade targets that I'd really like them to get. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, a lot of people would point to Bill Belichick on the spending and say, oh, he's trying to do this. He's all about value. Well, Robert Kraft's the one signing all those checks, and they don't usually spend big in consecutive off seasons, right? Over the last 25 years, you can find examples of years, including this past year, where they were pretty aggressive in free agency, got a lot of players that would help them. But they didn't usually follow that up with another year of doing that. And so I think they'll probably look at it and say, hey, we got a pretty good roster, all things considered, where we were a couple of years ago. We spent big there. Let's just try to hit another home run in the draft and grab a couple of other smaller pieces along the way and build that way. I really don't see them being a big spender in free agency this year.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it too. And they look at it in 3-year windows, right? They want to, quote unquote, balance the books within a 3-year window. So if you go out and spend as much money as they did last year, you're going to scale it back regardless of year 2 or year 3. And then one of those years, you're probably just going to do basically nothing, right? But they have the Gonzalez contract that they're, we all think that they should probably invest in him. And then you have Drake May coming up and being extension eligible a year from now.
Wouldn't you look at it and say this is the rookie contract for the quarterback window?
I think that's totally overvalued now. I think the cap
overvalued across the league or locally?
Think about how many times you look at teams that have quarterbacks on rookie deals. How many titles have been won in that case? People do it, and they do think like we're going to put the money into it, and then what have the results gotten you out of it? It doesn't happen very often when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal. So to me, I'm still of the mind that you have to build through the draft, and because you had 3 crappy drafts in a row prior to last year, including your 2004 draft, which you have 3 guys on the roster still, Caden Wallace, who didn't play a snap for you, and Marcellus Wallace, Marcellus Wallace.
What's in the briefcase?
Marcellus Dial, the cornerback who tore his ACL in the summer. The only guy who had to play was Drake May. So, they need another good draft, desperately need another good draft that doesn't include Marcellus Wallace, unless, I don't know, maybe he's coming out of the draft. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'd take him.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the history of Super Bowl losers. 8 teams have lost the Super Bowl and returned to the Super Bowl the next season. 3 have lost the Super Bowl and went back and won the Super Bowl the next season. Out of 59, though, 40 came back to make the playoffs the next season, 68%. Patriots, their strength of schedule, again, is the 6th toughest. So when you project that forward, I guess, how realistic is it for them to get back, not just this year, but as you look at it next 3 years, next 5 years, should we have the expectations that they're going to be a perennial team?
You should, based on what they did this year, based on the way they built the roster this year and what you expect them to do. Again, can you have another successful draft? If you had another successful draft class onto the one that you had last year, which people are debating, is it an A class, a B class? It was good. A lot of guys played a lot of important football for this team last year and should be better next year. If you can add a nice draft class on top of that, Drake May continues to ascend. You keep some of the important players like Christian Gonzalez here because he's a blue chip player, then why not be in that conversation every single year?
Yeah, I think they should definitely be in the mix. I mean, if you like the coach-quarterback combo as much as I do, then you would think they're going to at least be on that short list of contenders. Because I think going into the year, we thought that there was really kind of 4, right? It was Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. And the year went sideways for most of those guys. Allen got back, but we were just talking about how the rest of his team might be worse. Burrow seems like he might want to quit the way he's been talking. Mahomes needs a lot of help. They need to kind of overhaul that team a little bit. And then Lamar Jackson just missed the playoffs this year. So Drake May, I think, has at least put himself into that conversation. I like Vrabel as much as probably any of those other coaches that are there as well. So if they do hit on a couple more draft classes, I think, it's a little much to be like, hey, they're going to be back this year or they're going to be back the next year. But over the next 5 years, I would think that they're going to be back at least once.
Okay. I mean, it's just hard to kind of wrap it around. Like you mentioned all the quarterbacks, and obviously those guys are probably at different points in their career, but you also don't know who the next quarterback is going to be, the next Drake May, if there's going to be another one of those in the AFC, which is why you just look at it, it's like if you have this window now, I would want them to go ahead and spend now. Just strike while the iron's hot. Don't look at it like those other quarterbacks are going to phase out and things are going to get any easier. I hate projecting that way.
Well, I actually like the way you're thinking. It's just not the way they think.
Yeah.
So unless somehow Mike Vrabel and Ryan Cowden have convinced Robert and Jonathan Kraft to change the way they've conducted their business for 25 years, then I'm going to go based on this is what they've done in the past, and this is how they're going to move going forward. But you could make the case, because you can do, as Philadelphia has shown for the last however many years, or even New Orleans, who didn't have the success that Philadelphia had, but continually kept getting big-name players for big dollars. You're like, how can they do that? The cap. Push that thing out 6 years.
Yeah.
And then you have
Cap gymnastics.
And then you have 1 year of reckoning where you, all right, you know what? We got to look at what Miami's doing. They didn't have the nearly success, but they paid all those guys. They just cut them all. And they're going to take their lumps this year, and then next year they're going to have clean books, and they'll be able to spend all kinds of money.